All right, man, I'm exhausted. So, oh shit. Okay, I'm exhausted, man. So, a lot of people, a lot of people get in their own way when it comes to how they want to be perceived in this world. They don't want people to tear them down. I'm a part of this. They don't want people to tear them down, so they will try to present themselves as something that cannot be torn apart. But as you may find, and as you have found, that no matter how you try to portray yourself, people will try to tear you down. People will try to say all these things about you, all of these things that contradicts your own personal image, your self-image. So what I found is because, well, I've dealt with low self-esteem. I've been hard on myself. I beat myself up. I've been suicidal. Still kind of am, really. But what I found is that when you stop trying to fight off what everybody else has to say about you, it frees you up. And you say, well, you know what? Well, since I'm not trying to impress anybody anymore, might as well get back to being who I am. All right. The makeup comes off. All right. The gimmicks, it's over. This is what I'm going to roll with. So when it comes to that book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and I made a couple videos on that. It starts off talking about one of my controversial idols, Charles Bukowski. Now, Bukowski, man, he was a drunkard. He was abusive. He was sloppy. He was poor. He was raw. And he was himself. And ultimately, that's what won out. All right. So I'm not telling people to be a piece of shit, but I'm just saying because he didn't deny the fact that he was a piece of shit, that attracted his crowd, that sustained him. Now, ultimately, like a lot of us, he was the cause of his own demise. I mean, he lived to be pretty old, 74 or whatever, but he lived and died by what it meant to be him. And a lot of people would live to be 100, never quite figuring out what it means to be them. And I just believe that you don't get to that point without accepting who you are. All right. So when people try to say these bad things about me, even though I feel like people do get me wrong, don't get it twisted. People do get me wrong. It's better to just not even try to defend yourself in that regard. Now, of course, there are times where you do need to defend yourself, but choose your battles wisely because you only have X amount of time and you have so many obligations, so many things you gotta work through. That's why I be saying like trashy things about myself. I don't necessarily believe it. I just be talking shit, but I accept it. You know what I'm saying? I accept the rawness of life, and I'm a very raw person, shoot from the hip type person. I'm working on that actually because I found that shooting from the hip can really close some doors. So I have avenues for shooting from the hip. So, my creative endeavors, nobody touches that. It's not touched by man, just touched by myself. Um, and that's where my power comes from. All right. That's why the subtle art of not giving a fuck was really so powerful. It's just a matter of choosing what to give a fuck about. Okay. It's really that simple. All right. So, and I can't speak to everybody's situation, but For example, if everybody's calling you a whore or a hoe, whatever, and well, hey, I mean, you like doing hoe shit, then just be a hoe. I mean, I mean, be safe, but I mean, fine, just be a hoe then. I mean, and I see this now, it's becoming more and more acceptable to do things like that, to be one. And like I said, people gonna talk shit about you anyway. All right, too much of a hoe, you're too much of a nun, whatever it is, you gotta go for what's for you, and also uh, there's a lot of room to come up when you're too much of something for somebody. You know, when you're too disgusting or too loud, too quiet. There's something for you when you're an extremist, when you really pick a side and you commit to it. I don't know what my extreme thing is right now. Maybe I'm too lazy. I'm just laying down, just fucking chilling, man. People call me lazy. I'd be the first to tell you I am, man. Um, I still get shit done, but right now, man, the Taurus sun is taking over. So, uh, now I'm just gonna roll with it. Now, the Capricorn moon in me is telling me that hey, your 29th birthday is coming up, and I already know how I work. So I say, okay, I'm gonna do these things starting on my 29th birthday, and I will. All right, because I do believe in structure and things like that. Just like I also believe in having fun. All right. So when I talk about bulletproof acceptance, actually, it reminds me of Che Guevara. All right, who actually built up quite the cult following after his death. Now you let the documentaries tell it. People have no clue. Like, why would you idolize such a man like that? Also, I mean, like America's going to praise Cubans of all people. Um, but besides that, it reminds me of something. So like they used to call him Chancho, which is Spanish for pig or something like that, because he would he wouldn't bathe, like he would just stink. And he got a kick out of that. He loved being called Chancho. He liked being a stinky person. But I don't I mean I don't know. It's like, man, you accept those things and it's like there's nothing nobody can do to you. Like that episode of Hey Arnold, where I think Harold was going to like beat up Arnold, and he was like, he played the song like, "Don't hit me, I'll hit me." Started going real crazy to disarm Harold. So it was just a great takeaway, great lesson actually. Now this is not one of those things where you tear yourself apart so nobody else can, but you beat them to the punch, and now they don't want to do it. Now they don't want to fuck with you. All right, there's ways of disarming people. Naturally, none of us want to be embarrassed. So if you can accept that people are gonna say all type of things to you, all types of shit to you, man, like then they really can't do anything to you. And this is why you got to know what it means to be you, because you can convince yourself that other people know you better than you know yourself. Foolish, foolish. And I got a woman who truly believes that I think the way to end racism is to have mixed babies. Now, I simply cannot stand for that, but it's just proof that people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They just running their goddamn mouths. All right. That's all I want to do is run their fucking mouth. Anything to fit a narrative. And I ain't with it. And I talk about choosing my battles, picking my battles wisely. And I'm getting better at this. I'm not going back and forth with people on the internet no more. I ain't debating. Y'all don't even know me like that. You can get to know me. Don't act like you do. All right. That's where I'm at with it. And with that being said, I'm out of here. I'm really tired. And I'm tired of your shit.